All right, let's dive in. Today, we are going deep into an absolutely fascinating model for mastering your own mind, and it comes from an ancient Pali text called the Patissambhidamagga. Now, I know it's thousands of years old, but you're going to see how incredibly relevant it is for our crazy modern lives. Okay, take a look at this. This one sentence. This is the key to everything we're talking about today. It describes a special kind of wisdom called jnana that only shows up when your mind is in a very specific state. But what does it actually mean? Well, that's the puzzle, isn't it? It's like an ancient code that tells us not just how our minds work, but how we can actually work with them to find a bit of clarity.
And that puzzle leads us right to the big question. What in the world are balanced heads? I know it sounds a little strange, maybe even cryptic, but trust me on this. If you can wrap your head around this one metaphor, you're going to unlock a really powerful way to find some genuine inner peace.
So, first things first, no, we are not talking about literally balancing your head on your neck. The Pali term here is samasīsa, and it's this brilliant metaphor for a mind that's in perfect equilibrium. It's talking about a mind that's gotten so wise because it's finally figured out how to resolve all those battles happening inside. So what does this state actually feel like? Well, samasīsa is a mind where all the good stuff, the wholesome qualities, are standing strong because their negative opposites have been totally rooted out. Now, this is not a 50-50 balance, like a tug-of-war that never ends. No, this is an active achievement. It's the stable, calm state you get to after you've cleared out all the mental clutter. Of course, to really get why the solution is so cool, you've got to understand the problem, right? And the text is super clear on what throws our minds off balance. It gives us a list of these universal inner obstacles, the Pali word is nivaranani, that just cloud our thinking and wreck our inner peace. And here they are. You've got things like sensual desire, that endless Instagram scrolling just for the next little hit, or ill will, that road rage that pops up out of nowhere, or restlessness, right? That feeling where you just can't sit still for 2 seconds without grabbing your phone. Sound familiar? Yeah. These aren't ancient history problems. These are human problems. And the text lays them out as the battles we're all fighting. But then, and this is the best part, it gives us a game plan to actually win. Okay, so we've seen the mess. Now, let's get to the cleanup. See, the text doesn't just point out what's wrong, it gives us a super practical 3-step method for systematically getting these hindrances out of our minds. It's a really elegant process for cleaning house mentally. So here's how it works. Step 1 is cutting off the negative state. Step 2 is causing it to cease, making sure it's really truly gone. And step 3 is non-manifestation, which is the point where that negative thought or feeling just doesn't even come up anymore. It's like the difference between just pulling a weed and making the soil so healthy that the weed can't ever grow back. So, how does this actually play out? Let's make it real. Take that first one, sensual desire. We're not just talking about huge cravings. It's that low-level, constant feeling of wanting more. The text says the way to beat it is with its direct opposite, renunciation. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go live in a cave. It just means finding the freedom that comes from letting go of that constant needing. So you apply the 3 steps. You cut off the craving, you let the urge die down, and you get to a place where it doesn't run your life anymore. And you start to see the pattern here, right? It just keeps building. To get over ill will or aversion, that flash of anger when someone criticizes you, you actively cultivate its opposite, goodwill. You literally, intentionally replace that frustration with understanding and kindness. It's a 1-for-1 swap. The good stuff moves in, and there's just no room left for the bad stuff.
Let's do one more, because this one is huge, ignorance. And again, this isn't about not knowing facts. It's a much deeper confusion about how life and our own minds really work. And the solution? You guessed it, cultivating its opposite, which is knowledge and wisdom, or jnana. When you start seeing things clearly, the confusion gets cut off, it ceases, and eventually it just doesn't show up. So, you do all this work, you've cleared out some of that mental junk. What happens then? What does that actually feel like? Well, it's not just that the bad feeling is gone for a little while. It's that you establish a totally new, stable, and positive normal for your mind. The text calls this state sama. It means balanced or equal. But here's the key thing. It doesn't mean that goodwill and ill will are now equal inside you. No way. It means that goodwill is so strong, so established, that your mind is now balanced because the ill will is totally gone. The positive has completely taken over that space. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from the text says it all. The state of non-ill will is called balanced precisely because its opposite, ill will, has been abandoned. One has replaced the other, and that creates a whole new, solid foundation for your mind. But it gets even better. This whole journey of finding balance, it's not just about feeling calm. It's about reaching the absolute peak of your mental development. And the text brings back our core metaphor one last time to describe the ultimate governing principles of our minds, calling them heads or sisani. So check this out. This list has both the unwholesome drivers, the things that cause us trouble, like craving and conceit, and it has the wholesome powerhouses, like faith, energy, mindfulness, and wisdom. These are basically the CEOs of your mind. And the whole point of this practice is to basically fire the unwholesome bosses and promote the wholesome ones to run the show. So let's just recap the whole journey we've been on. It starts when you spot an inner obstacle, something that's causing you trouble. Then you use that 3-step method to cut it off for good. That process creates a new, stable state of inner balance. And practicing this over and over, well, that elevates your mind to its absolute highest potential, its pinnacle. It's a complete roadmap from inner conflict to total clarity. And that really just leaves us with one final thought. I mean, this whole framework for the mind is over 2,000 years old, but the process it describes, self-awareness, self-regulation, personal growth, it feels like it could have been written yesterday. So the real question is, how can we take this ancient map and use it to navigate the complexities of our own lives, right here, right now?